Hi, I'm Phil from Driftworks and this is my 9972 GT3. Those of you that are subscribed will have seen the last episode on this thing where I fitted some BBS E07 wheels to it and I absolutely really fell in love with the car again. But, as usual, there are some things, whilst the back is absolutely perfect, could come down a tickle, but the wheel fitment, wheel specs are the strongest of the strong. The fronts, there's a little bit of room for improvement here, and these lips, I think it's kind of a negative style lip where it goes, so it comes off the mounting face here, goes in and then comes out. Might be easy to see down there, probably not. But yeah, always looked a little bit on the strange side for me, and if you look at that, the center is kind of in line with the lip. So because I've done, some extremely accurate measurements with my finger, and because when I originally bought this car in 2013, I've done a little bit of work for clearance already in the arches, I figured, why not try some more manly lips. So these are an inch wider and they're from SRR hardware. So I'm gonna see about getting them fitted. So first of all, for those of you that are complaining, I know not many of you do, but I've seen a comment or two about, just doing videos on wheels rather than the massive conversions that we do and really heavy engineering projects that we do with a lot of my cars. Wheel stuff at the moment is kind of all I've got time for. We are absolutely maxed with the business at the moment. 2 days ago, we received a container with 480 sets of HSD coilovers on it. We've got another one arriving in a couple of months. Been doing huge amounts of product development, and the lads have been absolutely working their butts off to get all of this done and out the door to customers ASAP. But yeah, that'll be coming back out to play soon, I assure you. That B10 M3, not forgotten about in any way, don't worry. I actually have something pretty damn cool sitting on my desk for that thing. But as with everything to do with that project, one job turns into basically loads and loads. So I'm trying to allocate enough time to get some significant work done on that thing. Still got loads to do on the E30 and the 86, plan to move the F20C engine back in that one. Still on my list, but for now super busy, so I'm not able to work on the cars a lot at all personally. Even Jay's having to get stuck in and help the rest of the staff. We've got 13 staff here, I think, at the moment, trying to help them get all of the work done to look after our customers first, and then I get to play on the weekends. So it's a Saturday now, and I'm just going to get stuck into the first thing that I really feel like I want to do, which is the lips on this thing. Okay, first things first, degrease. I've just used a simple alcohol-based degreaser to get my smudgy prints off these and any residue from manufacturing. And then it's going to get the treatment of the best, which is Carbon Collective Platinum wheels, which is just a ceramic coating. And I'm glad I remembered to do this before assembling them, because once they're assembled, obviously you can't get in all the nooks and crannies. So I'm going to do 2 coats of this, and then leave it to dry, hopefully long enough to then whip the wheels off the car, start disassembling those, and hopefully these will be dry enough to then assemble. That's the plan anyway. Probably actual detailing guys dying watching me do this, but it's been relatively successful on other stuff that I've done. It just might have been some time since I last did it. Probably like, you don't need that much. Here we go. wait an hour and a bit or something, and then I'll do another coat, and that should be enough. Already looks pretty spangly though. They say that you're supposed to do their metal polish if you want it to be super, super bright. There's a Carbon Collective metal polish that works on these really well, but considering what I do with the car and the fact that it'll probably be covered in brake dust for most of its life unless I do get the PCCBs that I'm looking for the car, I figured that's probably good enough for now. And also, there's no guarantee that these are going to fit. It is a little extreme. GT3 brakes. Professional tools. Probably doesn't make any sense until you see that. Because you have to do everything with centre locks with the wheels off the ground. So start the engine so the servo works, press the brake as hard as you can, put my specialist piece of wood in place, and then I should be able to do all of this by myself. Those of you that have been here with the channel as a subscriber for years will have seen me do this many times to work wheels. This is the first for me with BBS, and I'm pretty sure, I don't think they're supposed to have that. I think they have an O-ring in there that seals the two barrels, the barrel and the lip, but you know, what do I know? I'm going to cut it a little bit anyway, and then just undo the bolts. I have already done this a little bit because I was actually joking when I said that I measured this with a finger on the arch. I have actually removed the wheel, measured the lip here, tried to get part numbers which actually don't relate to anything, and made an educated guess on what it may or may not need to achieve what I want to achieve, but you know, we'll see how that works out in a minute, eh? So that is interesting. I've just taken apart the second wheel. And yeah, you remember me saying I thought that it's supposed to have an O-ring? Well, it is. And it does on one side. So yeah, this is the thing about buying used wheels and not knowing the full story behind them. But yeah, that is why this one's been put together with sealant, and this one has the original gasket. It even has some slight differences. So they've got these extra washers on the bolts there that we used for the one with sealant, and they just come with this, I'm guessing, the standard washers on those bolts for this one, because the thickness of this takes up the space so they don't poke out too far out of the face. So I think I'm a bit stuck and I might need to find another gasket like that. Okay, so it's a Monday after work. I have ordered the sealing rings that I need from Germany. Having a look at the rears now, they're a bit tainted, the lips are on these. I was in two minds whether I'd pull them apart. I decided not to. Just going to use a little bit of the Carbon Collective metal polish, luster stuff, and see whether I can clean up the lips a little bit before doing the ceramic coating on those ones. While I'm here, I might as well get the TPMS sensors out of these wheels. So, a few days later, delivery of some sealing rings from FVD in Germany. They also delivered a few of the parts to do with converting this to a single mass lightweight flywheel and new sprung center clutch on this that I have filmed absolutely zero of, because it's something you've seen us do a few times before, most recently on the 964. It was on the tip 4 poster there. Pretty miserable job on the 964, completely miserable on the GT3. The few extra factors of the fact that it's water cooled, obviously there's a load of extra stuff to get out the way before we can drop the gearbox down, but also the GT3 specific gearbox in this doesn't have the same access holes that the G50-52 in the 964 Turbo does. So in the 964 Turbo, to get the fork in place, because it's a really complicated way to engage the fork for the pull type clutch, on the 964 Turbo, loads of room to kind of get your hand in and access that fork to be able to slide the pin into the fork. On this, I could just about get 2 of my fingers into one side of it, and then ended up having to create a load of devices to get that fork centered in that. So I was here on Saturday for a few hours, spent a few hours by myself on Friday. Jay had already helped me get the gearbox out on Thursday, and now it's Monday. We've just got the car back together now, so not a job. Oh, also because it needed a crank seal. We had a leaky crank seal, which was corrected at the same time. So fingers crossed this all works out, because I thought of taking that back off again now. No. Anyway, back to wheels. Let's get these assembled. Well, that looks pretty awesome. I think I did mention the TPMS. On the BBS wheels, we can't use this TPMS, which is the standard one. I think it's like a 12mm shank, a 12mm hole there. So obviously that doesn't go through. But there are a specific valve section, just this section, there is one available. I think it's a BBS part, specifically for these TPMS sensors. So BBS Germany, I think, is out of stock of them. I've ended up having to buy them from the States. They're not going to be here in time. So for now, I'm just going to put the normal BBS valves back in and continue with my error on the dash, and then come and sort this next week once they arrive. Right, time to see how bad a 235 looks on a 10. I think it's going to be a bit too stretched, but we'll give it a go. not the best. Stancy boy. Yeah, way too stretched for a real car. The question is, do I go 245 or 255? That's an expensive guess.
Think it'll take a 255?
Got a hammer in me?
I've got 2 hammers.
I do. Good old BBS and real tyres. For those of you that are really old school, and I mean probably 20 years ago old school, you may remember Project Stupid, an S13 that I had. It's not quite as bad as that.
I mean, that was pretty stupid.
It was the dumbest of dumb things, and that was why it's called Project Stupid. What was it, 18 by 13 minus, I don't know, 50 or something like that.
On a standard S13?
On a standard S13, all solved with hammers. No, actually, I think it looks really good, this. I think I've got to obviously see what it's like once we lower it down, see whether we've actually got any fitment, any clearance, and then I'll make a decision on whether I'm going bigger tyre or narrower barrel on the back there. But yeah, let's have a look what it looks like on the floor. Wow. Pretty happy with that. Still, it probably needs a little bit more camber on it, and I probably shouldn't pretend that I haven't had a rag wrapped block of wood, a hammer, the wheel off for clearance, and about an hour and a half of carefully sweating. I'd already, I keep saying it, when I'd previously owned this car, back in 2013, I'd already fitted some pretty aggressive Strass wheels to it. So I'd already done quite a bit of lip flattening here, all the way down to here, and as much as I could here, and also shaved a bit off the back of the bumper that holds this light in here. So clearance was pretty good, but it obviously still been tickling a little bit. There were still signs of contact there. So yeah, I just went a little bit further with it. Yeah, quite a delicate thing, but you know, this is the only GT3 wings, which I think are the same as normal 997 wings. So you know, somebody's going to correct me there, but I'd already started on them, so I just did a little bit more. While I was here as well, I gave the, I got the old angle grinder and did a little bit more here on the bumper here, which I'd already done quite a bit to the metal work here where the rear quarter and bumper meet, which is the classic position where it hits. But yeah, just gave myself a little bit more room there as well, because the alignment that I run on these things, which currently is on the car, is a little bit more toe than it has right now, toe in, which obviously moves the back of the tyre out towards the bumper a little bit more. So yeah, hopefully prepared now to get it probably on the 4-poster once we get the E30 M3 off, which is going away for something exciting tomorrow. We're going on an adventure with it. And then I can get this on and do a quick alignment and carefully check whether it's going to fold the front wings in half the moment I drive it. All aligned. Had to put another 1/2 degree camber on the front wheels. Sorted out the toe on the rear. Wasn't too far off really, considering the drop in ride height I'd done from putting it back to stock last year. But yeah, very happy with that. You got the full VIP treatment with the tape on the rims. So I've done a few miles in the car over the past week. The new clutch and flywheel's bedding in nicely. Really love that. It's such a small thing to many people, but the lightweight flywheel on these cars, I just think matched with that engine, it just works really well for me. But most importantly, the front wheels and tyres, they look superb. I'm so happy with them, and I actually don't mind the stretched look either as much as I thought I would when I first put that tyre on the wheel. I think it actually suits the car reasonably well. I think it's just slightly out. It just needs that little tweak, so it probably does need some 245s on the front of it, but they work really well on these cars anyway. It was a 245 I used to run on this when, you know, I used to run Trofeo Rs back in the day. Obviously it's going to push it out a little bit closer to the arch, but at 3 degrees camber, I think I'm okay there or thereabouts. If I need to add, you know, a tiny bit more for clearance, I will. But yeah, I'm super happy with it. Drove it to Caffeine and Machine yesterday, which was really well received on the Supercar Driver event. Oh, a few other things. The TPMS valves turned up, so those work really well. I got those in the car. I've got no errors on the dash, and actually I've now got myself a fancy new steering wheel. It looks a bit weird in this widescreen. It looks quite fat, but it's not. It's proper Porsche thickness. But yeah, 991.2 GT3 style, no multifunction, new airbag, suede, and a yellow centre marker. As I say, it looks really fat in this on the video, but it doesn't in real life. It really suits the car. It doesn't look out of place in my opinion in the car, and I think the wheel is such a massive improvement over the horrible grey plastic centered thing that you get on these as standard. As you can see, the center of the gear knob's missing here as well. This actually needs redoing or a new one. It's very worn out, obviously main contact point for the car. But yeah, I'm just painting the center of this satin black, kind of to match this. I don't know how far I go, because you know, the silver here and the silver on the seats, I'd probably get killed by the internet if I painted or wrapped those, but you know, my car. So yeah, that'll probably about do it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for supporting us by buying through driftworks.com. It's all very much appreciated. And yeah, more boring wheel videos coming along soon.